With this video, the goal is to help a struggling veteran, to make sure that veterans are reaching out to the places and to the people that can help them where they're at. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tommensense. I am Tom. The thing I want to talk about today is veterans. Now, a little bit of a backstory. So for those of you that are watching my channel for the first time, I am a veteran. I served in the Canadian Armed Forces from 1999 till 2006. Yes, that long ago. I am that old. However, I tell you this, and the reasoning for this video is very simple. A little bit of a story. So this past weekend, I went to Stony Plain, and I had the privilege to be in a trade show for veterans. Now, it was led by the Legion. They had an assembly of all the legions in Alberta, and what ended up happening was they were voting on things, but at the same time they were also dealing with veteran supported businesses. So as a veteran, I was offered the opportunity to go. I never made any mention about it before because it was not something I was supposed to do. The reasoning for this video is because of all the conversations I had with veterans and with current members in the military when I was there. So there were a couple of fellows I was sitting beside. They were great guys. They were with a different business, but it was great to be able to get into a conversation and be right back. And you can have those conversations, especially combat arms guys. It's a military thing. I can't really try to explain it to a civilian, but it's an amazing feeling to be able to have a conversation and there's an understanding right away. With this video, the goal is to help a struggling veteran, to make sure that veterans are reaching out to the places and to the people that can help them where they're at. Now, if you're not a veteran, but you do know a veteran, I hope that you get to share this video with them. I'm going to go through the steps that I believe every veteran should take, regardless of where they're at. And this is something that would help them and their families. Because as a veteran myself, I struggled when I first got out of the military. If any veteran out there in Canada or in the US have ever had to deal with Veterans Affairs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not pooping on them. I'm not saying that Veterans Affairs is a horrible thing or they're really bad. Nothing like that. But this is from my experience. And then again, going back to the weekend that I had talking to veterans and being able to discuss things with them. It was so important. I got a lot of value out of it, so I'm sharing it here with you guys. So the first step, regardless of where you're at as a veteran, is I would say, go to Legion. Now you're probably thinking, well, why would I go to the Legion? Because, you know, the Legion is just for old guys and they play crib and they, you know, drink beer and that's all they do, and they sometimes have meat draws. But if you're a veteran and there's a Legion in your area, go there. The reason I say that is because there are other veterans there. And again, you go back to the conversations that I had this weekend, how easy it was to just get into those things when there is a discussion about something. And it's an amazing feeling. So if for nothing else, you will have people that you can talk to. They'll understand. Other veterans understand veterans. And that's the biggest proponent for going to the Legion, is that there is that association. There is that ability to be able to discuss things, unlike with some civilians where the conversations aren't the same. That's really what it boils down to. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, veterans, but you know that there is a difference. Everybody that served knows there's a difference between talking to somebody that served and somebody who hasn't, right? Nothing against civilians, but it's just the way it is. That's the first step everybody should take if you already haven't, if you're not a member. And the second step, and I think this is very important, to reach out to a third-party provider. So here where I live in Peace River, the closest one is Veteran Farmer. Now, I honestly cannot say enough good things about Veteran Farmer here in Edmonton. So I've given you guys their information here. because they are amazing. The girls and the staff at this veteran farmer that I'm talking about right now, they have been nothing but amazing. They have helped me with a lot of the paperwork. And there's a lot of paperwork, veterans, right? When you talk to veteran affairs, there's a lot of paperwork, and it's daunting, and you almost don't know where to start. But again, if you've gone to the Legion, you'll talk to some people, they'll give you some ideas, because veterans going through this kind of stuff is so important. And then if you reach out to Veteran Farmer, they are a great resource for just those things alone, right? They know who to contact. They can help you with the paperwork. There's things that you don't know that they do. And that's just how it works. But Veteran Affairs won't tell you to reach out to Veteran Farmer. So this is something that as a veteran, I'm telling you guys right now, this is so huge. This is so important, because that's how you figure out how to deal with Veteran Affairs and how to get past being a veteran on your own, because it feels like you're isolated. So you need to talk to other veterans. That's the Legion. Second, you need to reach out to a third party like Veteran Farmer that can help you with Veterans Affairs. And third, now this is probably out to left field for a lot of you guys, but I feel like this is a huge, very important step, and I've seen growth in other veterans that have done this. Get ready for this, because it's a shocker to me as well. Start a YouTube page. And the reason I say that, like I've said in previous videos, if you haven't seen any of my previous videos, the reason I started a YouTube channel is for my well-being, to see my progress. But to me, as a veteran, it also allows me to voice some of the things that I don't talk about. And this is a great outlet. So regardless of whether or not it makes you money, regardless of whether or not you're monetized, if you're a veteran and you have a difficult time working with civilians, which I didn't even realize it until I left. Actually, I didn't leave. I was let go from my last job. And I now realize that a lot of the stuff I was dealing with on a day-to-day basis with civilians and at that job, the job was great. Got nothing bad to say about where I worked, and for everybody that knows me and knows that I worked there, I have nothing bad to say about where I worked. And it was a blessing that they actually let me go. But now that I have a YouTube channel, I get to voice the things I never talked about, and I kind of kept inside. It has been a great release, and mental well-being for myself has improved tenfold. Just because I get to voice the things, and man, I know there's people following, and again, it's not about monetization. If I get monetized, great. But it's been such a great release. It's given me a focus to do something else. In the military, we all had taskings. We all had stuff to get done. And now YouTube for me is a tasking. It is, I need to put out so much content in a week. This is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And as a veteran, that gives me purpose. That gives me a direction. That gives me something to do, instead of just relying on somebody else. And I need to be motivated and disciplined to do it, right? We've talked about discipline and motivation. Military never gave you the motivation. When you're in the military doing stuff, it wasn't motivation. It was discipline. You got things done because you were disciplined and you knew what you had to do, and you just went and did it. And that was it. But then you get out and it's difficult because there's no sense of direction. So something like this, YouTube, costs you nothing to start. $0. Go back to my first video. It's horrible. There's a progress. I'm getting better at my videos, better at editing, learning and finding out from other people what's important to them. And again, this is why I wanted to make this video. So I hope you found some value. I hope you take some action steps. Take an action, whether it's 1, joining your Legion, 2, reaching out to a third-party source like Veteran Farmer, or 3, starting a YouTube page, which is so important for your well-being. I pray for all you guys and gals that are veterans and all those family members working and that are associated with veterans. Share this video. Let them know that there is hope out there and that there are people that know what they're going through. Because that's the best way to deal with a lot of the stuff that veterans normally never really deal with. And talking to just one person isn't going to really solve that. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And again, Tommensense, because common sense isn't so common.